to approve minutes and finance.
Sorry, I forgot to hit record. Motion approved.
Okay, so anybody, any questions on the minutes or the financial? All right, motion to approve.
And I motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. All right. All right, so we're gonna move into zoning right away. Let Melissa go into zoning, then we're gonna ask anybody if they have events, and then we're gonna move into CMAP.
All right. So zoning, two projects that have happened. Well, one project that's happened recently and one that's future. So the 3339 North Ridgeway in 30th Ward, if you're in the 30th Ward, you might be familiar with this project. There was a meeting on August 4th. We have until tomorrow to produce feedback to Alderman Rebroyas if you want to add feedback for that project. It's a 6-unit building that's being proposed on a double lot that currently has a 3-unit building. There's been a lot of feedback about that project, and I think we've heard your opinions. We've heard everything that has been said on Facebook and has been emailed to us. And at this time, it feels like the project is not desirable to the greater masses. So if you want to know a little bit more about that project, feel free to reach out to us. We can get you all the information that we have, or you can check on our website. But I just wanted to remind everybody that if you have not given him your feedback yet, please do so. There's a future project Zoom meeting happening this Thursday, again in the 30th Ward. It is a second meeting for 3840 West Cornelia. This is that bungalow that you may have seen posts about that has just been demolished. They're looking again to build a 6-unit building, double lot, 3-story tall project. The first Zoom meeting was controversial at best, and we had solicited not supporting the project, and I know that several residents also did not support the project. We did not get any feedback from the alderman. However, it seems like they have been updating their drawings. We do not have those drawings yet. As soon as we do, we'll post them. But that is this Thursday at 5 p.m. Feel free to shoot us an email if you want some more information on that. That's all I know about that. So those are kind of the two big guys. We do have a lot of stuff coming up in the 33rd Ward, so keep an eye on our Facebook page and our email. Nothing quite ready yet to go to community, but it's been a hopping ward, so keep your eyes peeled. And that's all for zoning right now.
I got a question.
Go for it.
The Fields building, they're supposed to make a theater or studio there. And now they're talking about putting a 3-story parking lot in the lot that's goes from George Street to Wellington and Kearsarge, and it's along the railroad tracks. I don't know if that's just a rumor or if
That's the 31st Ward, so we'll have to.
Right.
I haven't seen anything. Did you get a letter? Did you get a letter or anything?
no, it
Bruno?
was just by one of the city workers today said that they were going to put up a parking lot there.
Parking garage on that lot right at the end of the
Yeah, 3-story.
It's sort of like triangular, that lot.
Yeah, it's long and
Yeah, you know where it is, Liz, right by the viaduct,
Yeah.
just south of
Yeah,
the
right.
viaduct. Yeah.
Yeah, we can reach out to the ward to see if anything new has been proposed for that, because we knew about the theater, but we didn't know about that.
I thought that this parking lot just came up now, so.
Oh,
All right.
We'll check into that.
Wow. That's-
Yeah, and if you have cars of 3 stories, then when they come out,
Yeah, right.
I was gonna
Right,
say.
all right.
Where's all that traffic going?
yeah, and it's residential all there, except for the Fields building. All right, so since I live in the 31st Ward, I'll give the alderman a call tomorrow about
Thank
that
you.
and ask what's going on with that.
Great.
Okay,
Any
thank you.
other?
Does
That's
anyone
it.
else have anything of zoning concern besides CMAP? Go ahead, Bruno. Did you have another thing?
No, that's it. That was
Okay.
the only thing I learned today.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing what you learned.
Okay.
For those of you who haven't joined our meetings before, we rely on you guys for sharing any news or information like Bruno just did. If you get a mailer addressed to you, about a new development and you haven't seen either your alderman or us post about it, shoot us an email, send us a screenshot. We do as much as we can to connect neighbors to identify a need for some of these proposals. Depending on the ward you're in, each alderman has a very different process. So it can sometimes be challenging and frustrating, and we're here to try to help.
Yes, there is some consistency with some aldermen, but not with all of them. And people that are new to the meeting, we really actually have 5 aldermen. One is very small parcel, so they all have a different process. So, you know, some only give 250 feet notice, which is the city standard, but the ones that have an actual zoning process do more. So if you're curious, let us know if you have questions. Does anybody offhand have any questions about that?
Nope.
All right, well then, Melissa, I know you have some gardening events.
I do. I've got 2 events coming up. The Avenue Gardening Alliance Fair is coming up next Sunday, the 29th, from noon to 4. I myself will also be in the fair. My husband and I are going to be displaying our garden winemaking. And it is on East Avondale. So I'll put a link into the Facebook group into the chat for that. And then the following month is the Avenue Gardening Alliance Harvest Fest. That's September 26th. So we'll remind you guys about that next month. But the Avenue Gardening Fair, it's really fun. It's kind of like garden hopping with information and fun stuff. And I'll be giving taste testing for those of you who show up to the garden I'm being hosted in.
All right, so just to let you know, since she brought that up. So I mean, we were planning on going hybrid in September, which was basically a Zoom and then a location. And I don't know, you know, unfortunately I've been out of town, folks. So how have our numbers been with the Delta variant? Have they stabilized or are they still growing?
Seems to be
Growing.
still going up at this point.
All right, so I guess we'll have to decide if we're going to go to a hybrid meeting or stay Zoom until we know, because certainly we don't want to take any risk with anybody. So
It's got a little
you'll
weird.
hear from us in the month what we're going to do. All right, and then and anybody who didn't know, Zoe and Melissa were our TV stars on WTTW's Chicago Tonight. So if you didn't see that, Melissa got some time to talk about CMAP, and Zoe talked about living in the neighborhood and also about us not having a library. So
also Christina, who's on today, she
Yeah.
got to talk about the Avenue Gardening Alliance. So we've got a lot of movie stars here in our midst.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot, sorry, Christina, I saw you and I forgot to mention. Anyway, so we were excited about that. And let me tell you, that was last minute notice. I was on the East Coast and they emailed me and I'm like, tomorrow? So thank you, Melissa, Christina, and Zoe for getting that together for us. So anyway,
you got your hand up. Did you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, Melissa, you said that the garden thing that you were talking about, is that next Sunday or the 29th?
It is August 29th.
Oh, okay, so it is August 20th. Okay, just
Yeah.
wanted to double check on the date because I like some of that wine.
The following Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks, yes.
Okay, 2 weeks. Okay.
did they post any event? Speaking of Melissa, did they post an event that we could share?
I put a link to the Facebook group event.
Okay,
Facebook is, the easiest way probably to do that.
Yeah.
But reach out if you need more info and I can hook you up with Christina.
Yeah.
And I know that Unity Park has, is it Luna? I can't find it now.
Lucha Libre.
Lucha Libre going on. And you could probably go onto Unity Park's website and find out more details, because all he told me was that. So I don't have more details. Does anybody else have any events they'd like to share? Nope. Well then, anybody else want to bring anything before we go to CMAP? All right.
You're a
Well,
real
we got-
talkative bunch, guys.
Yeah, tonight we're a quiet crew. Anyway, everybody, if you're not familiar, we did win the CMAP grant. It took us a while to get going with COVID, but we have Enrique Castello here. He's our lead person with the city on this. So I'm going to not talk too much, but let him get on with making a presentation or talking or answering any questions people have. Welcome.
Thank you so much. This is great. I love the events shout outs because once we get to work, hopefully we'll be able to attend some of these events and generate some additional buzz. I see that, you know, there's a lot of buzz going around with the neighborhood right now. And so I think it's perfect timing to kick off, you know, the project, the neighborhood plan as well during the time when, you know, there's buzz and it's semi-safe for us to go out there and meet with some residents. So thank you for taking the time to meet with me tonight or inviting me to your meeting. I have a presentation. Do I have rights?
I
Presentation.
made you host.
Ah, perfect. Okay. All right. Let's see what we could do here. Looks like I have a presentation. Can people see it?
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So, you know, I have a quick agenda just because I wanted to make sure that I am mindful of everyone's time. So I'm actually hoping that we could do some round of introductions. I know we have a fairly large group, but it looks like there's some board members. Looks like there's just some members of your neighborhood association. And then there's actually some folks that were interested in becoming a steering committee member. So I think it'd be nice to get a temperature feel for who's who in the call. So if you all don't mind, I can kick us off and then we can just kind of go around, maybe do like a popcorn style and call out some folks. So I'll begin. I'm Enrique Castillo. I'm an associate planner with the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. I am also the assigned project manager for the Avondale neighborhood plan. So I will kick it off to Melissa.
Me, Melissa?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi,
just-
I'm just name and why I'm here or.
Mhm.
All right, sweet. So I'm Melissa Toops. I'm the zoning director for the Avondale Neighborhood Association, and I am here because I love this community and can't wait to continue to preserve it, see it grow mindfully, and not be on the steering committee, but help guide the steering committee. Steer the steering committee. Is that a thing?
Yeah, that sounds real.
All right, I'm gonna kick it over to Maggie.
Hi, I'm Maggie Marystone. This is my first Black Club meeting. It's not my first CMAP meeting though. I've lived in Avondale for a little over 10 years now. Many moons ago in a former life, I worked for an alderman in the city, and we did the Wilson Yard project. And at that time, I spent a third of my life working on that project. So I'm very familiar with neighborhood development processes. Good to see everybody.
Welcome.
You want
You
to
wanna
kick
pick
to
someone?
somebody, Maggie?
Sorry, how about Daniel?
Me, Daniel, is there another one? Okay, I'll just go. I'm Daniel Cox. I am a ANA board member. I'm really excited, really for all this stuff. I love how many people showed up today. It's great. And I'm gonna kick it off to Doug Pate. Hope I'm pronouncing that right.
No worries. Yeah, Doug Petty. Let's see. I've lived in Avondale for about 10 years. We do a little garden project along the expressway. I see Angie on the call. She helped out a month or two ago. We put some more plants in. Let's see, I'm a landscape architect, so interested in planning and seeing how our neighborhood changes, and also a big advocate for active transit. And I'd love to see how bikeways come to our neighborhood. Love to influence how they're planned and the specifics into how they're designed and how they best serve our neighborhood.
Who's next, Doug?
Oh, let's see. I gotta scroll down. Where are all the people? How about John McDermott?
Yeah, and let's do, I apologize, guys. We do have a lot of folks on the call, so let's do quick, like 30-second blurbs. We love to hear from you all, but we realize that there's 30 folks on the call, and I don't want you guys to stay here till like 8:30.
Hi, this is John McDermott. I used to live a block south of Avondale in Logan Square, and I worked until 2017 at Logan Square Neighborhood Association, worked on a neighborhood plan, and LSNA asked me to listen in tonight to gain more understanding of what you all are doing and for LSNA to be supportive of this effort.
Pick somebody, John.
I picked Liz.
Oh, see, I had opened my big mouth. Hi, I'm Liz Muscari. I'm the current president of the Neighborhood Association, and I'm excited about CMAP because I would like us to have a plan and not have each developer come in and tell us what they want to do. And I pick, oh, I got to see who's in here. Or I'll pick Zoe because I know Zoe's here.
Hi, I'm Zoe Soto, and I have been in the neighborhood since 1993. It's about, what, 28 years. And I am on the auxiliary board. I was a previous treasurer, and everything I said, if you see the interview, I'm passionate about green space and getting a library and making sure developers don't overtake our neighborhood. Thank you.
Do you want to pick somebody? Julie?
I know, I gotta pick somebody. Gordon Weaver.
Okay, hi, Gordon Weaver. I've lived in the neighborhood about 7 years. I moved here from Virginia, so this is a bit different for me. I do like and feel it's quite necessary to be involved in my neighborhood. I'm on the Kenwell Park Advisory Council. I volunteer every week up at the Irving Park Community Food Pantry, and I'm just here, like I said, because I think it's important to be involved in your community, and we'll see where it goes. I'll throw it over to Bruno, my across the street neighbor.
I'm Bruno Ranko. I've been here since 1961 on Wellington, and I'm just a neighborhood observer trying to find out what's going on in the hood. That's
Pick
it.
someone, Bruno.
Pardon me?
Pick someone.
Who else? I can't see anybody on here.
You want me to pick somebody for you, Bruno?
Yeah, right. I only got 3 pictures, so.
That's all right. Let's go to Christina, because I know Christina's on.
My name's Christina. I have been in Avondale since 2008. I am the lead organizer for Avondale Gardening Alliance, and very interested in how the neighborhood develops green space and green canopy. I will throw it to Angie.
Thank you, Christina. I'm Angie Slater. I'm on Wellington too. My family's been here since the late 70s, and I am eager to help with the transitioning with the bikeways with Doug and continuing to garden with Christina and all of the beautiful things that are going to be new to our community. So I'm glad to be here with you all tonight. Thanks. I'm on a phone, which is hard for me to like look at the gallery view of who's
It's
here.
okay.
So
I
somebody
can
would
pick somebody.
yeah, please do. I appreciate that.
Britain?
Yeah, it's Britton.
Britton.
Thanks. My name's Britton. I have been here for about a year and a half in Avondale. I am super interested in this community planning process. In my professional time, I work as a community planner in health and human services, particularly in early childhood education. So I love engaging my neighbors and learning what's important to them and trying to make our neighborhood better. And I will pass it to Jennifer Blair.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Blair. I've lived in Avondale for about 9 years, and we live next door to that 3339 Lawndale project. And I'm interested in development though throughout the neighborhood and in, as Melissa says, revitalizing rather than gentrifying the neighborhood. And I'm here to learn more. Let's see, Jason Smith.
Hi guys, I'm Jason. I've lived here for about 10 years and I'm happy to meet you guys. And I am super impressed at this ambitious effort to introduce all of us on this call. So let's see, who else is going? If we have a call, Brian Castro, maybe give it a go.
Thanks for throwing it to me. My name is Brian Castro. I'm a resident of Avondale. I've been here for 2 years. Before that, I was at Humboldt Park for about 4 years. I'm a civil engineer, and I'm interested in being part of the steering committee because I want to make sure we grow responsibly. And I'll throw it over to, let's see, Elvis.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Elvis Guzman. I serve as the secretary for the Avondale Neighborhood Association. I'm very excited to see so many folks on the call today and eager to help with the plan. So thanks all for being here. I will pass it on to Mitch.
Hi, I am a former chair of the zoning committee in Avondale, 20-year resident. We've been talking about this, doing this for it seems like 10 years, and I'm finally happy to see it go forward. I intend to be on a steering committee if accepted, and I'll throw it to Danny P. Dan, are you there?
I am there. I just took it off mute. Sorry. I realized I'm like talking and it's like, thank you so much, Mitch. And I'm like, oh, I think I muted myself. So yeah, can you see me all? I believe I have the video on.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's a pleasure to see some old friends and some new friends. Been here associated with the ANA since the beginning, right? I was a former executive director for the Avondale neighborhood, for the Greater Avondale Chamber of Commerce. I apologize for that. Was involved in a number of projects such as the murals in various parts of Avondale, and then the community garden at Addison and Avondale, which we were just at maybe just a few weeks ago, doing some community gardening and lots of other things. And I co-authored the history book on Avondale a couple years back. I'm just so happy to see so many old friends.
Pick someone, Dan.
All right, it's up to me.
Yeah.
So I will pick Faustino Aguilera. Faustino?
Faustino, are you able to unmute? He may be putting a baby down. He's one of our board members.
I will, in that case, I'll I will request Jessica Wobekind.
I'm here. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Faustino.
Sorry. Jump in. So I'll quickly on the track forward to being part of this process and helping Avondale get better and better. Thank you so much. Let me pick somebody. Did Dana Calderon go?
Hi. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm actually here as an invited guest. I'm a board member of the McKinley grant, and we completed our neighborhood project at the end of 2020, I believe. So we didn't have the big hurrah during the pandemic, but we are moving forward with that. So thank you for having me here, and I will throw this over to Mark Fisher.
Hi, my name is Mark. I've lived in Avondale for the last 9 years. I'm an artist, teacher, publisher. A lot of you looked really great on WTTW the other night. And I was extremely interested to learn, I think it was Obi who mentioned that Avondale had been promised a library, which has never come to fruition. And I think that would be a particularly amazing resource for our neighborhood. God, who is left that
I
has
think
not gone?
Jessica's name was called earlier and she hadn't gone yet.
Okay, Jessica, now's your chance.
All right, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Wabikind. I'm about a 4-year resident of Avondale. Would like to get more involved, and so I think I'm a lapsed ANA member, so I apologize for that and plan on rejoining. Less busy at work these days, so I have more opportunity, and I've worked with CMAP on a parking study for the Wicker Park Bucktown community, so I'm super excited that Avondale has this opportunity, and I just love to be a part of it. And I am going to kick it over to, I apologize, I've been paying attention, but I'm losing track of who has gone. Antoine, I don't think has gone yet.
No, yeah, I haven't. Hey guys, my name is Antoine. My wife and I moved over in East Avondale recently. We bought a 2-flat in May, and both of us are just kind of looking to learn more about the neighborhood and meet some neighbors. And I currently work as a project engineer at a construction management company downtown, and my wife works for Fresenius Cabby as a systems engineer. So we're just on the call and we're looking forward to meeting you guys and hearing from you guys. And then, yeah, I have no clue who hasn't gone, to be honest. So if anyone knows.
Alice, I don't think you've gone yet, have you?
I haven't gone. So I'm Alice Wozniak. I'm very excited to hear about CMAP and, further planning for Avondale. I've lived here since the 80s, and I think it's a really great neighborhood. And I've worked on various events over the years, and I'm glad to be here. And I'll pick as Nikki Frissinger gone.
Hey everyone, I'm Nikki. I've lived in Avondale for about 5 years. Previous to this, I moved from Independence Park, which I was located right by the branch that caught on fire. So was involved in a lot of the meetings of rebuilding the Independence Park library. So I work in children's book publishing, and I'm also a volunteer with NAMI Chicago in my 20 years of living here. So I'm interested in mental health and how it affects the youth in particular. Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead.
Daniel Hart hasn't gone.
Yeah.
That's me. Hi, I'm Daniel, resident of 3 years here, always looking more to get involved in the community. I also run a website called helloavondale.co, which displays local restaurants and bars currently, but expanding to more. So watch out for that in the Facebook group. And that's me. So I'll throw it over to Daniel Cox since he.
I already went, Daniel, right before you got on here. So I will kick it directly to Christopher Curran.
Thanks.
Hi guys, I'm Chris. I am a longtime follower of the ANA newsletter, first time caller. I am an architect of some odd years here, doing multi-different residential, commercial, and infrastructure projects in the Chicagoland area. And like to help out anywhere I can, and this seems like a good opportunity to call in and meet everyone. And I apologize, I also am running out of names on my list.
Has Tim gone? I don't think Tim has gone yet.
Tim, if you're talking, you're on mute still.
I think, and Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that might be it.
Yeah, by my count, that was everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries, Tim. Apologies. So has anyone not gone? Amanda, your hand is raised. Amanda.
Hi, everyone. I've been in Avondale for about 4 years, Chicago for 15. And I would love to help out. I'm a lawyer, so hopefully I have some practical skills that I could lend. And I have a 2-year-old, so yes, we need a library. And I have this idea that we all need a butterfly garden, which everyone thinks is crazy, but maybe I can rope some of you into this. But looking forward to help and meeting people and you know, just seeing what's going on in this wonderful, vibrant community. Thank you.
Great.
Great.
Melissa, I think we got everybody.
Perfect. Thanks.
Awesome.
Dimitri.
Yeah, if we missed anyone, if you don't mind just dropping your name and then, you know, how long you've been in the community in the chat, that might help us out. I want to be respectful of everyone that had an opportunity to go and those that haven't as well if we miss someone. So we can just move right along here. And so I want to talk a little bit about what CMAP is. It looks like a few folks know who we are, and there's a few folks that don't know who we are, but we are the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, also known as CMAP. We call it CMAP just because it's short and easier to pronounce. It's so that, you know, moving forward, we'll be calling it CMAP. You know, we are the agency that was mandated by the federal government to serve the 7 counties of northeastern Illinois. We have a total of 284 communities that we serve, not including the individual neighborhoods of Chicago. So overall, we have 300 plus communities that we serve as a metropolitan agency for planning. And what we do is that we've created a Onto 2050 plan that looks at the region and helps us grow in a way that, you know, we're moving forward with quality of life. From that agency CMAP, we have a department called the Local Technical Assistance. And it's a program where we open up for applications every single year. With the exception of 1 year, 2 years ago, we take applications around the region to help folks with planning endeavors. We've completed up to 150 projects and have currently about 29 underway. And what we do is when we put a call out for projects every year, which we have another one coming up here in October, we ask folks is, you know, what is it that you need from our agency to help you get to our regional goals? And that may look, you know, different based on a few different opportunities and issues that each community might have. So we do offer different types of technical assistance. We do plan priorities reports. We do comprehensive neighborhood plans, which is what you all were awarded, is a neighborhood plan. And then we also do revisions to zoning, parking studies, sub-area planning, corridor planning, you name it. We also have we work with communities that maybe don't fall in within these project types and help them customize a project based on their needs. Again, the goal here is to get everybody on track to meeting their regional goals, which, you know, is by offering technical assistance. So Avondale applied for the grant in the summer of 2019. And in December of 2019, you were all awarded the plan. But because of COVID, we decided to actually hold off. We had planned to kick it off last summer, but because of COVID and not being able to go out in the community, we decided to pause it and then shoot for this summer, hoping that the numbers would have gone down and would have been safe. One of the things that I always say is that the community are the experts. So there's no way that we can go out and do a neighborhood plan without engaging the community and the residents and everyone that is within the boundaries of the study area. So with that being said, we're hoping that we're able to kick off here within the next couple of weeks. And hopefully right now what we are doing is we're in the pre-planning process, which is we're finalizing the scope of work. You know, as a neighborhood plan, we want to make sure that we do an existing conditions report and that we bring that back to the community and we make sure that what the data is saying is matching up with what the residents are seeing. So part of that is doing a very, broad outreach and engagement with community residents. We do some visioning workshops, and then we do also surveying at the community as well. So that is all being packaged right now in the scope of work. Once we get that complete, we'll be able to sign the intergovernmental agreement and then get to work, hopefully again, like within the next couple of weeks. I know that we've been going back and forth with the neighborhood association to finalize that. So you all of you are here because we're in search of steering committee members. I was asked to come in today and talk a little bit about, what that actually looks like. And to be honest with you, it's fairly simple. The steering committee is the sounding board. They're the ones that, have a few tasks. In particular, we have three main deliverables. One is the existing conditions report that you all will review. The second is the recommendations memo. And then the third one is the final plan. So those are the three main deliverables that require review. But in between those, we have workshops, we have focus groups, we have interviews to help get all of the information that we need as we go through this planning process. This planning process takes about 24 months. So with that being said, we're looking to have about 8 to 10 steering committee meetings throughout the 24-month period. But more than anything, we really want you all to assist with the community outreach. Again, you are all the experts. You know where people gather, where people are going for festivals or wine tastings or, community gardening. So we want to make sure that we reach to all of the community residents. And then more than anything, think about those community residents that, don't always show up to the events. How can we get a hold of them so that we can get their input as well? So thinking outside of the box to reaching all corners of the community as well. And so with that being said, I do want to pause because I've been speaking quite a bit and I want to be respectful of time to see if there's any questions before I actually introduce Dana, who also was a steering committee member when we did the McKinley Park neighborhood plan. I was the project manager out there as well. This was a 2-year endeavor that we did over there. And Dana actually was the one that facilitated all of our steering committee members. So I actually wanted to bring her along to actually give her perspective of what it was like to be part of the steering committee and give input and help us with the workshops. And for more than anything, just have it as a near peer exchange of just asking questions because it is a commitment. It's a 2-year commitment that we're asking folks to be a part of. But at the end of the day, I see a lot of passion. I've heard a lot of passion about, moving the neighborhood in a certain direction, making sure that you have a say. And so we're here to amplify that. We're here to help you get that in a neighborhood plan so that you can use this in the future. So I'll pause there. And I can't see the chat. So Melissa, do you mind checking the chat and see if there's anything there?
Yeah, there's nothing in the chat. I wonder if maybe Dana can just dive in and especially speak to time commitments, physical commitments.
Yeah. Dana,
Thank you. Yeah. Enrique, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I am just like thrilled and excited about just the group of people that you have sitting in front of you right now. It's a very robust group that has so many talents and so much energy. And God bless you all. Keep that energy for the next 2 months because you're going to need it. But you're in great hands with Enrique. It was a pleasure to work with him on our project. And just listening to where you're coming from, I think you've got a great group right here with the steering committee just sitting right in front of us. You've got people involved in transportation, landscaping, residents, new and old, neighborhood association, people who are interested in green space, advisory council committees on your PACs, your parks, people interested in early childhood, people who have got experience in chambers, all this stuff that McKinley Park did not have. So you're way ahead of the game, let me tell you. So this is really exciting for me to see this this new rebirth of another CMAP project happening. Just a little bit of background. McKinley Park, for those of you who are unaware, is a small, what I used to call the culturally void triangle of Chicago, which it no longer is. But we are situated right smack in the middle of Bridgeport, Back of the Yards, Pilsen, and what did I say? Bridgeport, Back of the Yards, Brighton Park, and Pilsen. So that's where we are on the near southwest side. McKinley Park didn't have a chamber, we didn't have a neighborhood association, we didn't have any kind of organized groups. The only group we had was a civic organization that met for a few months out of the year, and the rotation of the committee hadn't changed in probably 30 years. So we were looking for something new. We did have the McKinley Park Advisory Council, which is called a PAC, which works more just within the park itself. So I was involved in that for about 4 years, where we brought extra programming to the park that is not supported directly by the Chicago Park District. So it was more free programming that we did. So we created a farmer's market, we created a concert series, we did mutual aid. We did stewardship for natural areas. We got a huge grant to repave all of the walkways in our park, and a lot of other things. When the Chicago Community Trust came along, many of you may have been involved in something called On the Table. They don't currently do it right now because of COVID and other things, but On the Table was an opportunity for community members to sit around a table, literally, and get to know each other and just talk about what our assets and deficits are in our neighborhood. Right after that happened, we realized that we need something more. We needed an association, if you will, whether it was a business chamber or a neighborhood association or something. So out of that, we applied for a grant through the CCT and received a grant to develop the McKinley Park Development Council. And from there, things just rolled because doors just opened, and it was really wonderful to see. So from there, once we had the Development Council, we applied for the LTA grant with CMAP, and we got it. It was just a miracle of all miracles. We were a very small group of, I think at that point, 7 people, and just got it done. And we were ever so grateful because that grant, and this grant that you have in front of you, is going to open up so many more doors for you. This also opened up doors for us to partner with the Nature Conservancy, with the Metropolitan Planning Council, with Friends of the River, who also offered us another grant to do a study of the river, because we are on the South Branch over here and talked a lot about different opportunities and availabilities, again, assets, deficits of that as well. And just so much more. We also realized that we had a community that is very diverse here. The languages spoken in McKinley Park are English, Spanish, and Chinese Mandarin. So we also decided to apply for yet another grant through the Chicago Community Trust, and that was called the Acting Up Grant. And what we asked for, our project was called Amplify Our Impact. So we actually wanted to use that money for a portable speaker, portable PA system that we could use within our park at our concert series, because there's no electric out there, that we could use to be mobile with it to do other presentations within the neighborhood, as well as seek out other interpretive devices for our council meetings, so that perhaps we could get headphones to help interpret the meeting as it's going along in all 3 languages, English, Spanish, Chinese, Mandarin, and also to get translators to help us create all of our outreach, all of our print materials, all of our social media, so that we can have it in all 3 languages, so that nobody feels like they're being left out. And that's the hardest thing, is trying to get everybody involved in your neighborhood. You're not going to get everybody, clearly. Once you're done with all of this and you've reached to maybe 60,000 people, there's still going to be another 2,500,000 people who said, I've never heard of this. So it's just a matter of just keep pushing through and making things happen, and using these opportunities that you have that I've already heard about, like this amazing wine tasting garden event that's happening next week. I mean, that's coming up really soon. But this is going to be an event where you can start getting that buzz going and talking to people about, hey, we've got this grant and we'd like your input about it. And just if you can quickly pull together some sort of a Q&A of what are the top 5 things that are important to you, and are these things important to you? The sticker method was something we used in a lot of our outreach meetings, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. Just put your sticker around the things that you think are important. Using your garden walks, using your meetings, using any kind of availabilities at Kenwell Park. I know that Chicago Park District also hosts some events there. So whenever events come through, you can use whatever events in your neighborhood to get the word out and just keep pushing that. It's going to be much different in your case because we are in the midst of COVID, and how do we do this? It's going to be a little bit more challenging, but it's also a luxury to be able to just connect with people via Zoom in the comfort of your own home. So there are pros and cons to all of that as well. I love your thoughts about revitalizing versus gentrifying, responsible growth, I heard, green space development, and of course a library. All amazing things that are high up on your, I think, priorities for your development plan. So being a board member of the McKinley Park Development Council, I was also on the steering committee. And so the steering committee, we did reach out to as many people from our community as possible. We leaned on teachers, we leaned on people from our faith communities as well, which were very important to get to those groups, to people who were involved in housing, people who were involved in just volunteering and stewardship, and just people from all different backgrounds, and pulling in their expertise and then sharing that stuff and finding ways to, again, do more outreach, to be more focused, to, again, you're focusing and then you're being broad-minded about a lot of different things. So it's going to expand and contract the entire time you're going through. But it's an amazing journey. And I think that you're going to have a great time with this. I'm not sure what else to say about it, Enrique. I'm just very excited when I hear that other people are getting this grant, because I know that an empty storefront equals endless possibilities. And that's what you have in front of you. So good luck to you. And I don't know if there are other questions about this that you might want to throw my way. I'll be happy to answer as much as I can.
Could you speak to the time, like how much time you would say you contributed towards this, like on a weekly, monthly, roughly basis? And I'm assuming, being physically there is important, obviously.
Yeah, being physically there was a lot different than, just tapping in through Zoom. I think it would have been a lot quicker and easier maybe had we done it this way rather than planning our meetings in different places. But because I was involved in the McKinley Park Advisory Council, I was involved through them, I was involved through the Development Council, I was involved through the steering committee. So there's a lot of different hats I kept switching through. But if I were only on the steering committee, I think that, God, Enrique, you're gonna have to remind me how many actual meetings we had, but I think you said about 10 meetings, 10 to 12 meetings that we had. So it was every few months. And the meetings were, maybe 2 hours at a time. And people would get an agenda in advance and then a recap after that, and then moving forward to the next one. So those meetings, those 2 hours each time you're meeting, are really the nut of it all, where you're talking about your focus and what we need to concentrate on and what areas we want to focus on. Are we looking at affordable housing? Are we looking at greening the neighborhood? Are we looking more at, bikeways and ATA? Are we looking, these are all important things, and just sort of, making a perfect little map out of all of that. So, again, 10 to 12 meetings out of the 2 years, a couple hours per meeting. It's not a huge lift. And especially if you have the people that are committed to it engaging each and every time.
Yeah. I want to add that the biggest time constraint will be the review of the existing conditions report. That is a pretty lengthy document where we're looking to do a full data analysis on the community. So that's one of the biggest lifts. The recommendations memo, we will work together to make sure that makes sense, that the recommendations are in line with what the folks are saying and what the data is saying. And then the last thing is going to be what I think actually takes the biggest bulk of the time is going to be the final plan review. We want to make sure that we have everything included and making sure that those recommendations have strategies, and then that even the strategies and recommendations are prioritized. And again, we take these all back to the community, and we have the community help prioritize these. We make sure that those recommendations are in line with what the residents have been saying in this 24-month process. So that's the biggest chunk of the time that we do allocate, but the rest are, just helping. I'm not sure if if the Avondale Neighborhood Association has come up with an exact number of how many steering committee members they want to bring on. But once we have that number, we're able to divide the work, and we're able to, between the focus groups and the interviews that we do, we assign folks, so not everybody will be on at the same time. So there's a little bit of relief there as well.
And real quick, so we haven't finalized the number yet. We discussed maybe 12. And then as a full disclaimer, we had 38 applicants. We are so proud to see so many people so excited about this plan. And unfortunately, we won't be able to have everyone on as a committee member. That doesn't mean that your support isn't still needed. That doesn't mean that you're still not going to have a say in all of this. We're still going to need you to help get out the word, to physically show up and show your support. We're also going to need a fundraising committee. So if you are very good at fundraising, we will need to raise $9,000 to help pay Enrique's salary. Because of all the amazing support that they do, right? Like we do have a fairly extensive fundraising effort in front of us. And there's also opportunities on our board, on our auxiliary board. So there's tons of ways to get involved in A&A. Our board, I also want to say, we are not going to leave you guys as a committee off on your own. We are going to be with you every step of the way. We have had folks who've been in the community for many years, and some slightly more newcomers like myself. I'm only 5 years in, so I feel like I've barely lived here compared to the 20, 30-year lifer folks. So it will not just be you guys in a bubble, don't worry.
Yeah, I want to actually address a few of the comments that were questions that were in the chat. One of them saying, how much the grant was for and if there's any restrictions. So the grant is actually to do this neighborhood plan. That's what the grant was. And the 9,000 is actually a match. So it's a very small percentage of what it costs to do a neighborhood plan. I don't know what off the top of my head what that going rate is. I think it's like 150 or something for a neighborhood plan. So this 9,000 is only a fraction of what that costs. Because the grant covers the rest of it to do the planning process, the 24-month planning process. As far as the yeah, it really is. And then there's some questions about if the aldermen folks are on board. So we've been reaching out to them individually, making sure, from what we understand, everyone's really excited and on board. Because we had to delay the process for a year, everyone was on board before we delayed the process, and now it's reactivating everyone and letting them know that we're going to be starting up again. We are bringing a few external partners, which is just part of the planning process. We'll be bringing the Department of Planning for the City of Chicago. And they've actually have committed to helping with the communications with the aldermen's offices. In the past, we've had the aldermen have a dedicated person to be part of the steering committee. But in this case, there's 5 aldermen in your ward.
Yep.
So that would be like almost half of your steering committee, and that's just not the way that we do things. That takes away from actual residents that have an opinion outside of a aldermanic agenda. So what we're going to do is the City of Chicago Planning Department will be helping us with that process and helping organize them on a separate side so that we clear this space, the steering committee members, for residents. And I think that was, I believe that the state representatives were on board. I believe they actually had even written a letter of commitment as well during the application. So we're all good there.
And I know Melissa put it in the chat earlier, but I'm adding it again because it got lost, but I'm posting a link to the McKinley Park plan, which if you read through it, it's long, but it's really, really good. So if anyone's curious on that, I would definitely encourage reading it.
And for those of you who filled out our Survey Monkey survey, and that's why you're here, you received an email from me with that link as well. If you have not filled out the Survey Monkey link, Daniel, can you throw that in the chat too?
Yep.
If you're still interested in, or if you are interested in serving, And if we haven't scared you off, um, please let us know if you're no longer interested. Otherwise, we're going to assume that everyone is just as eager to get involved as you were yesterday.
Or before the meeting.
If I could just jump in, Enrique, because I don't want people to be scared off. I came into this project having absolutely no experience in zoning, development, housing, none of this stuff. I'm a cultural arts programmer. That's what I do. So but what happened was I learned so much, and it really gave me ownership of my community again. It was a really nice thing to have, and to meet other neighbors as well. So if you feel like, oh, I have nothing to offer, don't think that you don't have anything to offer just because you don't have a specific, city skill, if you will. Everybody's got a skill, everybody's got knowledge, everybody's got something to offer. And I just want to say thanks to Dan for the Filbert soda shout out.
Does anybody have questions?
And I just posted the Survey Monkey in the chat. So if you are interested and you have it filled out, please go do that.
How has the plan been actionable in McKinley Park after it was published?
That's a great question. I knew that was going to come up too. So I misspoke earlier. The plan, Enrique, correct me if I'm wrong, but was finished at the end of 2019. And so that was, at the end of the year, and I think it maybe seeped into January 2020. I don't recall, but COVID hit. And we were locked in, shut down, away from everybody. And also what happened was at that time, I had retired my position at the Development Council. So although I'm still involved in, on the fringe in different ways, I am not on the board anymore. So I don't know exactly what their next step is. I believe they're applying for, what is it, Enrique, a housing grant?
Yeah.
A housing project grant. And also they're going to lead the Chicago Community Projects Challenge Grant. We're applying for that as well. And so I'm actually pitching something for that grant to the council based on the development plan, going back to our development plan and seeing where the priorities were and say, these are opportunities. Right now I can pull these things, because right now the city of Chicago is looking to really uplift our city in so many ways. There are a ton of grants out there right now to do a lot of things, and I think you're going to get a lot more yeses than you would have a year or two ago on grant requests, and that is going to help you move things forward for the things that you're looking for. I think your library is probably one of the top things that you should have. I mean, I'm just speaking as, a citizen here, but you shouldn't have any problems, getting support for something like that, or anything that you're looking for. So hopefully as we move out of this whole virus, or through the virus, and learn how to live with the virus, we can move forward with a lot more of our plans. And Enrique, you're more in touch with the MPDC as well, and would probably know more about the insides of what they're moving forward on.
Yeah, we could talk about some of those implementation recommendations that they've already moved forward. So one of the recommendations, with this being a newer organization, was to help set them up with the different committees. Whether that was a housing committee, there was an ETOD committee that came from that. There was a arts and cultural committee as well. So these are the different committees that did not exist within the organization until we came, and we were helping them just organize themselves as an organization to serve the community. And that's some of like the more smaller, tangible like recommendations that they were able to move instantly. Some of the bigger ones is with them having a train stop there. They talked about some parcels that were vacant and really wanting to have a say as to what happens on those parcels. So we created a ETOD recommendations where they would put together a steering committee for that and work with the city. And now that the city is actually working with Elevate Chicago, I believe they applied to the pilot program for ETOD development, which is a small grant to help them, educate the community a little bit more about what TOD is, but in particular ETOD, right, to make sure that it's equitable transit-oriented development as opposed to just TOD. So those are two examples. We also had some additional funding where we brought an engineer and did a pedestrian study right there on the corner of 35th and Archer. And there was a lot of, it's a truck route. There's a lot of pedestrians that, had been in accidents. So we brought them in to reconfigure and do some mock-up just drawings of what it would look like if it was to be a safe intersection, like what that intersection looks like if it was to be safe according to their study. And so we brought in CDOT for that. Now that CDOT didn't adopt that and say, yeah, we're going to do that, but these are renderings that we would consider. And because the study was already done, now when a funding opportunity or a grant comes, they already have that in their hand, so they can literally just apply for it. And then so that saves one a lot of time and makes their application a lot more competitive when it comes to applying for it. So just a few examples. They've been really busy moving a lot of things forward out there in McKinley Park.
Thanks.
Would I be able to ask a question?
Sure.
Awesome. So I think that this is the case, but I just figured you guys would have more experience if this is so. So for example, in Avondale, we once had a commuter rail station that was closed. So for example, if let's say that in our study, we say, hey, we should have Metra reopen this station, right? Which by the way, would be by California and Diversey. If you want to have that one, or the location that was at Belmont, we're right by where Coyote, the logistics company is. So the Maplewood train station, that was right over there, and then it was taken out in the 1940s or 50s, right? So for example, if we had that recommendation, would that, for example, open doors for us if we wanted to tell Metra, well, we would like to have the Metro trains that go past here, stop here as a station, for example?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we could do is look at historic data for rideship and, see if there's a need for it. So yeah, that can be identified early on in the existing conditions report.
Would it open doors for us, for example, if we said this is what the community wants?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that if it comes up and we can build a case for it, yeah, you could definitely take that to Metra, and you already have the case and it's already in a neighborhood plan. So it'd be easier to make a case for it with the neighborhood plan, and as opposed to just as a community going, hey, we think we should have a Metro station here.
Thank you.
I will say anecdotally, as an architect who's been on the other side of a community plan, if your alderman has buy-in in the community plan, they do use that as a metric with future developments to say, hey, they identified this should be mixed use, no more than 4 stories. Hey, no, this should be residential. And so as an architect, I've been handed those plans saying, hey, this is the general buy-in. Anything plus or minus this, we're going to need to have a more extensive PD or something along those lines. So it becomes like a roadmap almost.
Yeah, one of the benefits of having a neighborhood plan, like you said, with the alderman is it's your base, right? So I know in McKinley Park there was and I haven't kept up with what happened, but they reached out because there was a business that was going to be opening on the corner of 35th and Archer, and we had done this community plan, and in that community plan they said we did not ask for a Dunkin' Donuts there. We wanted more of community services. We have plenty of those things, but we don't have community services, right? Or something to that effect, right? So the alderman was able to put a stop to it at the time. And, because it was in the neighborhood plan, and, the McKinley Park Development Council had all the results from all that, visual preference surveying that we did with the community, the alderman was able to put a stop to that. And then now, again, I don't know where they are with that, but I know that the plan was used to put a stop to it until they figured out what to do, where to go next with that.
Yeah, if I could jump in, it was a little bit bigger than that. What you had mentioned earlier, Enrique, about bringing in the Department of Transportation and doing that study right there in that corner was we had realized that that intersection was a dangerous intersection because it's right there at the orange line. So you've got people walking, crossing the street constantly. We've got buses turning into that terminal. So what we had hoped to have across the street was an ETOD development there. However, when the Dunkin' Donuts decided, they bypassed the alderman, from what I understand, went straight downtown, got the permits, and started digging immediately. And it's not just a Dunkin' Donuts, it's a drive-through Dunkin' Donuts. And so it went absolutely against everything we wanted in our, or had stipulated in our neighborhood plan. So the alderman did, in good faith, stop it, ask him to stop and look deeper into this, because there were some things that they skipped over or so he thought, as far as permits went. And sadly, it was out of our hands already. It went straight to the city and it was approved. So now we're going to have more of this. So I don't know, as I mentioned, I left the development council, and they also had a lot of new board members that are there who were not part of the plan to begin with. So it's new people. It's a lot of different people coming in, and it's almost starting from ground zero. But there are a lot of people who have eyes on this and are watching this and hoping that we can move forward and say, okay, this kind of thing needs to stop. Here's our voices. We're going to be louder now. And this is the kind of thing that we're absolutely up against. And we can go back to our aldermen, to our state rep, and talk to them about the future and how we're going to implement our plan better.
We do want to be respectful of folks' time. I know it's 12 after when we normally end. Everything is, you guys have been having great conversations. This has been amazing. Enrique, are there any final things that you want to say or mention?
Yeah, so like I had mentioned previously, so we're right now finalizing the scope, and then we'll get our intergovernmental agreement signed and we'll be able to get to work. So in the meantime, we know that the Avondale Neighborhood Association is going to move forward with selecting the committee, so that once the two things are complete, the selection of the committee and our IGA is signed, we're ready to hit the ground running, and hopefully we can attend some of these events that are about to happen here within the next couple of weeks. And then we have also been working internally on a outreach and engagement plan that we usually do. So, that'll be our first task to review as a steering committee with the neighborhood association to, move forward this plan for the outreach, which is the first step. And then also starting to line up our interviews. We usually do about 25 to 30 interviews. We conduct a survey across the community to identify those opportunities of the community and the issues. And then that's usually how we start moving forward with the existing conditions report. So that'll guide us into the data report that we'll be doing. So a lot of moving components are happening as we speak. So just stay tuned for additional information, and there's a lot of buzz going on behind this. So hopefully we can continue that momentum.
Any final questions?
If you
All right,
do
well,
have questions, feel free to send them to our Gmail, and we can forward them along if we can't answer them to Enrique. We'll be in contact. We've got a lot of great folks to read through and look at, and we'll probably be reaching out just to confirm availability. And some of you guys are very over involved, and we love that so much, and we just want to make sure we're not stretching you too thin. Because us over involved folks, we can't help ourselves but be more involved. Take it away, Liz. Oh, go ahead, Enrique.
Anybody else? Oh, go ahead, Enrique.
I was just going to say, I am truly humbled that I have this opportunity to work with this neighborhood that is full of energy, positive energy, and hopefully get to work soon. So.
Yes. And just so if anybody knows too, there's probably going to be something in Chicago Magazine about us as well, because they did an interview with me. So Avondale's going to be all over the place. People are going to be sick of us, but that's okay, because we want our community. We want everybody in the community's say in this as much as we can get, to come up with a plan that everybody in the community has a say in, as much as we can get. So hopefully we can reach out. We know social media only gets people, certain demographic of people. We need to get out there and get everybody's say in this. So without much more ado, I know we're late. Anybody else? Anything else before we sign off? All right, everybody, have a good rest of the evening, and thank you for coming. And
Thank
thank
you,
you, Enrique
thank
and
you,
Dana,
thank
for
you.
talking. at
Thank
the meeting.
you.
Yes, thank you,
Dana,
everybody.
Enrique.
Aloha.
Thank you.
All right, guys. All right, bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.